Hello and welcome to InsecureSpace. My name is Stefan and I'm here with David.
Hi everyone.
And with Jack from JackkTutorials.
Hey guys, some of you might know of me. From YouTube, 190,000 subscriber YouTube channel, and I do hacking and security stuff. And thanks to Stefan and David for having me on.
Yeah, our topic today is about how we started with programming and hacking, what we are currently doing, and what our plans are for the future. Hopefully you can learn from our stories a bit and use our advice as we get questions such as, how did you learn all this frequently? Before we actually start with the topic, thanks for the feedback for our first episode. People seem to enjoy that a lot, and yeah, it means a lot to us. You can listen to it on Spotify now, on Apple Podcast, and on InsecureSpace.com. There are also all the links. We have an RSS feed online and all that. So you can add it to basically any podcast app that supports an RSS feed. We probably won't continue it on SoundCloud if anyone even listened there, because SoundCloud is expensive. We have to pay for that separately. YouTube, not sure yet. I think I'm gonna upload this episode on YouTube because we have JackkTutorials here, which is a big YouTuber. But we will see. Not clear yet. And yeah, if you don't like our terrible accents, don't worry. We have Jack. He's from the UK, so that should give you the proper English pronunciation of everything.
Full English experience.
Yeah. Okay, so I think our first subtopic, I guess, is how we started. David, do you want to start?
Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna start with it. Actually, I have a secret special point I want to say, and none of the guys know about this. And let me just start. So we have Jack on the podcast here, and I just wanted to say, thank you for Jack for making the videos, because I don't know if you know or not, but you were a motivation for a lot of people getting into hacking, and it is super cool that you did all of your videos, because otherwise maybe even I didn't really get into hacking, because I looked at your YouTube videos and it looked so cool that you can do all of this stuff, with Kali Linux and all of that. And because of that, I started really learning about it and, reading more articles. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you in my name, and I think in the names of other people who also watched your channel or, still watching.
That's awesome.
And my name too.
That's awesome, guys.
Yeah, and do you remember that I actually tweeted once with a bag of chips and the Coca-Cola?
I do.
Yeah,
I do remember that.
I was really hyped, and I went to the store and got something to eat while I'm watching the video. So, yeah, I am a big fan here, and I just wanted to say it, to clear it up before we go on. So yeah, thank you for the videos. Okay, now I'm gonna start with the how I started topic actually. So first of all, I am 16 yet. I just finished 10th grade in high school, so I'm not like spacehuhn and Jack, who are older than me actually, quite a bit, if we can say it that way. So my story is not doesn't go that far. So I think I started with with computers by playing Minecraft, and a lot of people also started the same way, I think, and it was quite, fun and interesting. And I had a friend who made Minecraft plugins, and it was really cool. And I wanted to learn how he does it. And, he was programming in Java and still doing some stuff in Java, but not anymore. I got really hyped that, oh my God, if you learn to code, that's super cool. And I wanted to learn it, but I never really got into learning it properly. So, I downloaded all the programming tutorial apps you can find on the Play Store, and you can go through, the Java tutorial, like Variable and all of that. But I wasn't got to the point where I can just say, okay, I can use this in the real world. That this was I was around like 13 then, so I mean it's probably okay. And but I still really wanted to learn it. So later I just got it more willpower to learn it actually. And I even watched like these Derek Banas, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name right, videos. If you watched his videos, then you know what I'm talking about. He has the how to learn PHP in like 30 minutes video, and if you watch it and you don't have a programming knowledge yet, then you're just gonna basically want to give up the whole thing. But you should not. So it's great. These learn PHP in 30 minutes videos are really great for people who already know other languages. So I would not recommend people just starting out to learn by these. I think the best way to learn programming would really be about, starting a project and then going through all the problems you are having. But that's for another section here. So yeah, I wasn't really programming yet, because I wasn't able to. And I was mostly doing server related stuff because, having a Minecraft server and a TeamSpeak server was the coolest thing ever when you are, doing that with all of your friends. And I had the TeamSpeak server, and actually I had an old computer and turned it into, a TeamSpeak Minecraft everything server. It wasn't really running it properly, but it worked. And we even, with my friend who was doing the Minecraft plugins, we actually made a lot of projects, mostly really random projects which didn't really have a point. We did those, and it was mostly like web development stuff, and we learned a lot from it. Great example, we had like in elementary school, we had like I didn't know that's the quite word for it, like carnival party. Nevertheless, it was a party, and we were doing the music, and we did a web app where people can like vote for what kind of stuff they wanted, what kind of music. And then I got a bit more into this programming thingy, which got really exciting because, then you could make your own websites and stuff. But I didn't really do hacking at that point. And also that website for the school to vote people on the music, I had to turn it off overnight because I had the server running next to me, next to my desk, so it wasn't the best option. I think I eventually I moved to DigitalOcean because I realized that, oh my god, for $5 I can get the VPS which is running all the time, and I think $5 was way cheaper than how much that old PC actually costs from the electricity stuff. But yes, we did a lot of random web projects, and then we learned a lot of stuff with this. And after I got like a bit into programming, I went with Python. That was the language which I think I would recommend to most beginners. Not sure about you guys, but Python is something that has a really friendly way of writing the code, so you can actually write it like almost like real English language, so it's quite easy to learn. And I started going with that, and I was also reading articles on Nullbyte, which was, I don't think it's really active anymore, but it was really active back then, and it was like a hacking forum type of thing, but mostly like admins were making articles, and those articles were written so cool that you read it and you wanted to do the same thing, and it was looking like that is the coolest thing ever, to do those kind of hacks. And I also watched Jack and Jonty, so yep, they were also a big motivation in getting started into hacking. And then that's probably, if you know my GitHub projects, that's probably the one, I wrote a Mitmap. It's MITMAP. You could pronounce it that way as well. It's really up to you. And it's basically a man in the middle access point script in Python. It has a really shitty code, but basically what it does is it makes a fake access point for you. So you don't have to do these complicated steps that you would otherwise have to do to make an access point, to capture all the data flowing through it. So I made this script that would simplify the setting up the access point, the man in the middle, and all of that. And that was my first hacking related project, I think. And I uploaded it to GitHub because I thought, like, this is really cool. I mean, no one is actually doing it this simple way. Everyone is like doing this complicated manual setup stuff. So why not just make it public? And I uploaded it to GitHub, and there was really nothing for months. So, I had 0 stars for like 3 months or 4 months. And I really had, I thought that, okay, that's probably not a big deal. So, people just don't care about it, and it's probably quite shitty to, do it that way. And, but for some reason I thought I should post it to Reddit. And I went to r/hacking, and I posted it on Reddit. And it basically blew up. It was crazy. So I posted it in the morning, and like 2 hours later, it was on top of the subreddit, on the hacking subreddit. And everyone was giving me the stars on GitHub, and it got into the GitHub trending, the Python trending, and it was the first on GitHub Python trending. So I had like 300 stars in one day, which was, the first one in the GitHub trending Python category. So I was, I didn't even realize what's happening, like how, and people were tweeting about it, like famous, InfoSec people were also tweeting about it. And yeah, that was just really crazy for my first project. I didn't expect at all, after like 3 months of nothing, that I'm posting it on Reddit would make such a big difference. But it actually made a difference. And yeah, that's how I really started doing InfoSec stuff. After that, that was my first open source project, and after that I did actually Nicholas Comma. You probably, if you listen to the previous episode, that we went to the C3 together, and he messaged me 2 years ago at Christmas. I remember we were decorating the Christmas tree, and I was following Comma because Comma was like a famous guy who had his tools on JackkTutorials videos. So that's why I was super hyped, because Jack, you made the directory merge, no, the word list merge video. Yeah, so that was a tool made by Comma. And I watched the video, and like, oh my god, someone got on JackkTutorials just by writing a tool. I mean, that's wow. And then yeah, I was following Comma and like looking at his stuff he's doing, and it was insane. And he followed me back at Christmas and sent me a message like, "Hey, I like your Meetmap project. We should do a collab." And it's like, whoa, with Comma. I mean, Comma is like super famous. He has all of these projects, and yeah, we did kick them out. You maybe seen Kick Them Out. It was also on JackkTutorials channel. So it's basically a tool to ARP spoof people and kick them off the network. So that also got a lot of stars on GitHub, and if I remember correctly, it also got into trending, which was really cool. So we had a project with Comma. Actually, it's quite great in InfoSec to collaborate with people. I think that's really a way to do these open source projects. It's just way more fun than doing it alone. And yep. So I also remember, Jack, you wasn't able to pronounce either of our names. So Comma had Nicholas Comma. He has a fancy name in Greek names, and I have a fancy name in Hungarian. So Jack didn't really got into pronouncing our names. I remember I was showing it to my classmates, like, oh my god, look, he can't read my name, and I'm on JackkTutorials. So yeah, I was super hyped for it. It is it you are one of the biggest like hacking channels, right? Still.
Yeah, I think it's all the search optimization. Like, I think if you're searching anything to do with Kali, maybe not Kali because Satonics robbed that off me, but
oh yeah,
if you search Kali now, Satonic comes up, even though we're doing it longer, but no hard feelings. But yeah, it's probably one of the biggest channels, and I think one of the things is it's a biggest English channel, and it's not some Indian guy with some
because
budget
there's a lot
Walmart microphone.
We will come to that later.
Yeah, I'm sure I've got plenty to talk about on that.
Yeah, so so that was it when I met Kama, and then I only know Kama as like a hacking other guy in hacking, and then I was following Jonty on Twitter, and he tweeted about the D offer. And I was like, wow, this is cool. And because I was making Wi-Fi projects, and kick them out is basically almost the same thing, because it just kicks off you the network, so you don't have connection. So it was a different kind of way of doing it. And I really liked the project, and I even started it, and I even bought a Node MCU just for it. And then, I think we just like messaged a few times with spacehuhn, right? I sent you like
we met
feature.
on the Discord server.
No, before that I sent you like feature requests and stuff for the D offer.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah,
we had a conversation on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. And you said like, oh, it's out now, you should try it. And then I said like, oh boy, I had to go home, I can't try it now. And I got home and I flashed it, and it had the new feature. So yeah, it was really cool. And then we actually met on Cytopia, because I joined Cytopia, Jonty's Discord server, and then spacehuhn joined Cytopia, and basically everyone. So we had Kama, spacehuhn, and Jonty, and then we met Dean. So we have all of the people in this squad there. So we met Dean on Discord. Yeah, as well. So then after that, I made my other tools in my open source tools. I have like probe sniffer to sniff probe requests and like look at what Wi-Fi's phones are looking for in the area, and I have also like port spider to like scan an IP range, and I have like a few other open source hacking tools. If you want to check it out, then you should go to github.com/xdavid2. Shameless plug in the middle of the episode. And then I think I'm kind of finished with the how I started part, because I arrived at like around this time. So this was it for me, basically.
Yeah, I have. Yep. That's great, because I have some comments on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, this is perfect, because it's interesting. I think I told you that before a couple of times, but you let me start that way. You said that you're really hyped about Karma, right? You thought like, oh, he's famous and has all the stars.
Yeah.
And look, we all met now, and we're just ordinary people, really. I mean, it's nothing special about us.
Yeah, we are like, when you don't know the other person, it seems like he's like super famous and stuff, and when you get to know him, it's like usual, like all of you, so
yeah, just casual.
Everyone is like casual people, but you don't realize until you really meet them. Yeah,
and when you tweeted about my idea offer or reacted on it and stuff, I saw your profile, and I mean, you had this cool picture, and you had like, I don't know, 200 followers, and I saw you were like into hacking and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, the famous hacker likes my tool.
Yeah,
it's like I was crazy hyped because of you, and then when I joined Cytopia, it was great, because the first thing I saw was you having the role knows shit.
Oh yeah, that was something.
I hope I can say that.
That was an achievement. Oh yeah, I think the podcast is now explicit. Right, is it?
Yeah, sorry.
Not for
kids,
children. Yeah.
Stop listening now.
Oh yeah, too late.
No, but Yeah, that was pretty cool. But I mean, we are just ordinary people, and I mean, yeah, I started also the same way you, basically, with like TeamSpeak and Minecraft, kind of. Probably like a few years before you, but
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
still,
possible.
that was cool. And I also had it running on my old PC, and I don't know how you did it, but we had to use this Hamachi, or how is this called?
I
Like,
know Hamachi.
Oh
The
yeah,
good old days.
it's terrible.
that's
I can't
terrible.
pop forward, so I'm going to use Hamachi.
Yeah, exactly. My father wouldn't let me open the ports on the router.
Oh, that's
So,
I opened it, and I had.
no choice.
Oh yeah, then how much is
I
the
had to use Hamachi, and it was terrible. And
Oh, by
but
the way,
yeah, this is.
how much is Hungarian? Did you know that?
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't as well, but people were using it, and it's from the company LogMeIn, and LogMeIn is Hungarian, if I'm correct. Yeah, I mean, nothing special. I just yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I would be proud of that company.
Not really. How much is not something you want to use anymore.
Yeah, it got worse and worse over time.
Yes.
But anyway, this is where I got more interested in. I mean, I was always interested in computers and stuff, but then I really got into, hey, how do I set up my own server? And I was installing it, and I was setting up my old PC again, and then I was like, oh, Windows is so wasteful in RAM, and Minecraft needs a lot of RAM. Let's install Linux and get it running. And for someone that never did this before, installing Linux for the first time and then getting Hamachi to run on that thing over the terminal, that was like crazy. But I mean, that was cool. I mean, that's basically how I learned a bit about Linux and that stuff. Yeah, but I didn't really learn much. I wanted to learn programming at that time, but I even bought a MacBook. I wanted to get into making my own iOS apps. Terrible mistakes. One terrible mistake, because Xcode version 4, I think, at that time was great. It was easy to make a little UI, and it was cool having then your own app on your iPod Touch or something like that. But Objective-C, I mean, Swift is kind of a new thing. You had to program it in Objective-C. That's not something you want to start as a beginner. It's a terrible language. Don't start with that.
Yeah, that's why I said, Python is probably more friendly way of doing it when you are a beginner, rather than, going like a full low level. I mean, you can debate that question.
Yeah, I think some people prefer to start with high-level languages, some with low-level languages, but the thing is you don't know which is better for you until you actually started with something.
Yes.
So, but I would say about the question, what do I start with? I would always say whatever you want. What do you want to do? Do you want to do electronic stuff? Then, okay, have a look at Arduino. Then you have to do stuff with C. Do you want to make like little scripts that control your server or something with Linux, like what you do? Then Python. Also look up with like the stuff for the terminal, the bash, and if you want to do some desktop UI stuff, I don't know, maybe you want to look at Java, maybe not. Just basically look what you're interested in and look what is available there. Don't like force yourself onto something just because you think it's easy as a beginner or something. That's not the right choice. You need something that is motivating for you. But yeah, about my story now. So I was really bad at school. I did these kind of things, learning a bit about servers and that stuff, but it was not really a thing. I didn't learn programming until later, because I switched to another school where we also had a lot of subjects about programming, databases, web development, multimedia design, a lot. It was like half like regular school topics or subjects, and half like some computer related stuff. And that was really great. I was really, really bad at school before, and when I switched to that school, everything changed. I became way more motivated just because I suddenly had subjects I'm interested in, and I learned programming there. We started with JavaScript actually, so something kind of really high level and ugly, but okay, that's my opinion, but I don't think that was the best because I programmed really bad code for a long time. But I mean, whatever. We started with JavaScript and then we went over to Java. But that was not really, most of the time, we just learned for the exams and not really going into, learning the whole language. That's something I learned later now in university. I got so much better. But yeah, I learned the fun, like the basics of programming, and that was important. And I programmed a stock market game. Actually, I think that was still in the first year of that school. So we started with JavaScript and HTML. So I wanted to build this app I wanted to do before in my old school, just like a little stock market simulation thing, because I thought, hey, the program just needs to get the actual stock prices from some server, but they are available online, right? So just get the prices, and like buying and selling them, that's basically just math. And the rest is just building some UI around it. And the idea was that you get some virtual money and can buy and sell stocks with it. Basically like trading stocks as a game. And I never managed to do that before, but I learned like the basics of programming, and we had some of the web development stuff. So I learned PHP, but not in school, by myself, because I was bored in school, because it's the same stuff again and again. The teacher was like going over a topic again because a lot of people didn't understand it or something like that, and I was just bored. So I just started learning PHP, and pretty quickly I had a little website running where you can register, and you get 10,000 euros. I mean, not real money, but like on your account, it's virtual money, and you can buy all kinds of stocks. And that was fun, because as soon as my the other guys in the class saw what I was doing, they wanted to play that game. And in one day, from no one knowing anything about it, everyone was playing that game for a couple of weeks, everyone in my class. And it was crazy, and that motivated me a lot to program it, to improve it. And I mean, that was crazy. That app was, I had it on a web. Yeah, it was just a website. I also had a Android and iOS app for it, but it was just opening the website basically. But it was still running until last year actually, because it was running over the Yahoo stock API. And it was some community thing they offered for free, and they just stopped doing that last year in November, I think. Just without any info beforehand, they just stopped providing that API. So my game was just broken from one day to the other. That was kind of shit, but yeah, I mean, that was cool. I got a little bit of money of it from ads, not much, but enough to motivate me. And I tried to do some other games. Oh, I did an iOS app with the chicken in it, my logo, together with a friend, and he did all the artwork. So he made the chicken I'm having now as a profile picture.
Oh yeah, you had that for the game.
Yeah, you saw the game, right?
I
had
even
it.
played
I showed
with
it to you
on the iPad on the train to the C3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
yeah,
great.
it's actually, I don't know how many devices does still have that app installed. Probably just me. and like 2 guys of my old class or something, because no one actually downloaded that game from the App Store. Promoting stuff is really hard, especially if you have such a simple app. With the stock market thing, it was easier because it was such a like niche thing. People that just looked for it, they found it immediately. It was one of the top apps. I mean, there were just like 2 or 3 games like this, and yeah, the other ones were kind of boring. I was the only one offering some community stuff. Like you had a chat and you have a rank and you could see other players. None of the other apps, none of the other stock market games had that. So that's how that became popular. I think I actually had 8,000 registered users. That's a bit, especially if you're just a beginner. So that was kind of a success. The iOS app I did then, this little game where you were an astronaut and you had to basically dodge asteroids. A bit like, how's it called? Flappy Bird, where you just like try to not hit the pipes. But basically like that, but you're an astronaut and you have to avoid.
That was the game,
hit.
right? I played with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
And that had the chicken in it. The chicken
that was the chicken, yes.
Easter egg. Yeah, if you have to go to the menu where you can select the skin of the astronaut, and if you click 3 times on the first skin and then go back and start the game, you get, instead of an astronaut, you're getting the chicken.
But did you have the spacehuhn name before, or you just use the picture and then you choose the name?
I had, I think on Steam or something, or, I think on Steam, I just named, I thought this picture is so funny. I just put it as my profile picture and, gave it that name, but like for, I don't know, a day or 2, just for fun. But I didn't use that name really. That came later because when I was releasing my D offer, I thought, hey, this GitHub thing, I need a username. And my tool, maybe a lot of people will see it. I should pick a good name. And then I remembered, hey, I had that game I made and that logo, and I used that name before, but not really. So there's no spacehuhn out there, so I could use that. And then I just picked that as my GitHub username and then chose that picture. And I mean, it was a great choice. It gets attention.
Yeah, it's really great, and it's like a fun name, not like not like your name with an underline. It's way more interesting. And people like it. It was a really good choice. Also great for merchandise with the stickers and everything. Yeah, and you can easily remember that and stuff. Yeah, really great.
Yeah, the logo is great. I'm glad we did that game, even though it was totally unsuccessful. And I mean, it was a pretty simple. It was not a good game, but I mean, it was cool. I learned a bit about like 2D game programming and stuff. And hey, I finally did my iOS game, so yay! This time in Swift. But actually, I still think Swift. Swift is a good language, but I was still super annoyed by Apple because while I was programming them, I was programming that app. Apple updated Swift, and suddenly my old code wasn't working anymore. And I was forced to update and that stuff. That was annoying. But anyway, better experience than with Objective-C before. So, and so at that school, we had these projects. We could choose each year, and was for 2 weeks, and we could choose what kind of project we want to do. There were different projects being offered, and one of them was with like soldering like these little robots or doing something with Arduino. And I picked that project, and I think the first thing I did was basically making a shield for an Arduino Uno with 2 7-segment displays. And you had, I think, 2 or 3 buttons, and you can like count on the displays and add numbers, subtract numbers. But that was cool to get started, to learn how programming with Arduino works, how just doing stuff on a breadboard works, and all that. And a bit later, I always wanted to, after that project, I always wanted to do more with it, more with Arduino, more with electronics. But the problem for me was I had to buy all this stuff, because it was really just fun if you had a lot of stuff. If you just buy an Arduino, it's boring. You need a lot of components so you can build your own thing, mix things together. And I didn't know what I should buy, because there's a lot. If you don't buy it from China, it gets expensive really fast. And I didn't really know what to do with it. I mean, in that project, I had 2 weeks really of school time, and I could just look what they have, and the teacher would help me if I had problems or anything. And but on my own, I wasn't sure what should I do with this. I mean, I could build a game and then people would play it. That's cool. But when I build electronics, like, that would be just for me kind of, not motivating enough. So I didn't really do anything until in my that was the last year, 2016. So last year of the school. I bought some Raspberry Pi and Arduino stuff. And I had a lot of Pis before. I run servers on the Raspberry Pi and that stuff, but I didn't really got into it. And there was also the time I watched a lot of JackkTutorial videos. That was pretty cool. So I also got more interested in hacking. I watched a lot of tutorials for Kali Linux before as well, but not really. I wasn't really. I was just like doing what the guy in the video did, not really understanding anything. But I mean, that's how everyone starts, I guess, with this kind of stuff. But I was looking, what can I do with these Arduinos? I wanted to do something. I wanted finally to do something cool with them, and I was looking, hey, can I add Bluetooth to this? Can I do this? Oh yeah, what really caught my interest, I remember now, was the Arduino Pro Micro, because I read that it could be used as a joystick. And then I read more about it, and then I saw, it can be used as a keyboard. Interesting. What about this thing called the rubber ducky? So I could build my own for, not less than $36 or whatever the rubber ducky costs. Like even the Arduino, I think I bought an Arduino Micro. Even if you buy the original, it's like €20. So way cheaper than a rubber ducky still. And I could build my own one. It could also be used for emulating a keyboard, and I could do the same attacks. And that's the first thing I did. And then I was looking on YouTube and stuff. I was looking for cool chips, and I found the ESP8266. I think from a Hack 5 video, where someone, I think it was on DEF CON, they made a little game with it. So someone was running around, broadcasting an SSID, also a Wi-Fi network, and other people had this little scope. What was it called? It was called scope, something with scope. But you can look through it, and in it had a little tiny OLED screen displaying the SSIDs around you. And so they were running around searching for that SSID and basically trying to find that guy on DEF CON somewhere. And I found this was super cool. And the guy was really hyped in the video, was telling about some of the technical stuff, and was really hyped about the chip. And I was like, ESP8266, I have to look up what it is. And I bought one, and I was like, what can I do with that? Maybe I can do this thing I did earlier. What is it called? ARP spoofing.
And then you did it with the
ESP.
Arduino.
But I found out that you can do packet injection, but I couldn't get the ARP spoofing to be working, and I was confused. But basically, you have this function that could inject packets, your own defined Wi-Fi packets, but Wi-Fi packets means Wi-Fi packets, and ARP spoofing is basically like an Ethernet packet. There are different layers, and inside a Wi-Fi packet there are usually frames for a standard Ethernet connection. But you can't just send the same packets out on the ESP. It has to be in a Wi-Fi frame, and if you are connected to an encrypted network, then that frame also has to be encrypted, and you cannot easily encrypt it yourself. That's way too much work. And I remembered, hey, what else can I do with it? And I remembered, hey, when I want to hack a network, I can disconnect devices, right? And so I looked it up and I was like, yeah, deauthentication, that was it. And yeah, I can send the packets without being connected to the network, and it doesn't need any encryption, and the packets are really simple. Perfect. I can probably send them out with this chip. And I got it working. It took me a few days, really trial and error, before I got it working, because you had to hack around a bit with the SDK. But luckily, I found some pieces on pieces of information in different forums, and that really motivated me. I found this was really cool, and I built the deauth that I later released on January 2017. And yeah, I released it on GitHub and no one cared, basically. like with your midmap.
Yes.
If you just release something on GitHub, no one will look at it. But
you have to promote it somehow, and it can be really hard, actually, too.
Yeah, it can be really hard. And I was watching Satonic at the time too, and he was very small. He had like just 5,000 or 6,000 subscribers at that point. And I thought, hey, he's doing exactly what I am doing. He's doing hacking stuff with Arduino. He's showing off these tools. He probably is interested in what I'm doing. And I sent him a message over YouTube, like YouTube DM. Terrible thing. Don't do that. Like, no one is gonna read that anyway. Don't send me a message over YouTube. I don't look in that inbox ever.
Where are you getting it? Is it like a YouTube inbox? There is a custom one for it?
Yeah, you can send private messages over YouTube.
But no one looks.
Exactly. That's the problem. Things I wanted to send him an email or something, but there was nothing linked on his YouTube channel. But anyway, after 3 weeks or so, Jonty answered and said, yeah, sure, if you have anything, just send me a link. Oh, by the way, if you want, what did he say? Like, keep hold on me, be sure to message my Twitter account, something like that. So I was like, oh, damn it, he has a Twitter account. I have a Twitter account. Why didn't I use that before? So I didn't even answer him on that YouTube message. I just directly went to Twitter and tweeted at him publicly with a link to my GitHub and saying like, here, build a cheap Wi-Fi jammer. And yeah, that took off quickly. He got really hyped about it, made the video, and wow, then things happened so fast. I mean, a week later, this guy named Kedar made his YouTube video. He's an Indian guy that basically steals content, but he made it super clickbaity, and a lot of people watched it, and it got like 300,000 views or something. And he made multiple videos on that as well. Jonty's video was pretty good, actually. I mean, he also called it jammer, but like put it in quotes, and he said that's actually the authenticating in the video. But this Indian guy, he just straight up called it jammer. And in the video, he was showing how the Arduino setup looks like, how you flash it. Problem was, he was not explaining it properly. He was just calling it a jammer without explaining any of the technical details. The Arduino setup that he explained was also wrong. It had errors in it, and it quickly became outdated because I changed things. So that was also annoying, because then I got a shit ton of messages.
And he even stole the source code.
Yeah, he downloaded my source code, put it in a zip file, uploaded it to his Google Drive, and then linked to it. But not only that, he on purpose removed all the copyrights in the code to me. So everywhere where a copyright was, he removed it from the code and then uploaded it to his own Google Drive. No, he didn't actually. That's the thing. I thought it was Google Drive or something, but actually he uploaded it back to GitHub. And then, you know, on GitHub you have this button, download zip. He copied that link and put it in the Google description, but you couldn't see that it's GitHub because he put it in a link shortener.
Oh, Jesus.
Really crazy. I got into a big fight with him. Long story short, I managed to get all of the free videos with my tools in it banned from YouTube for 2 weeks. Then they went back online because YouTube was like, yeah, this copyright thing, we don't care. If you want to proceed on this, just get a lawyer. And I was like, he is in fucking India. What can I do about it? And YouTube was just like, yeah, not our problem. Bye-bye. And so the videos are back online. But yeah, he's promoting wrong info and just, it's terrible. And a lot of terrible videos followed after that. And that's where we come back to the Indian YouTubers. Oh my God.
Yeah, they are. They're interesting fellows.
Ah,
Do you also got videos stolen?
Oh yeah, all the time.
All the
They just
time.
they made it so obvious as well. Like, they just straight up download the videos and re-upload, no attempt. Like the channel intro would just say JackkTutorials right across it, with my Twitter handle in it, and it's just like, are you trying to get away with this, or are you just doing? But I could get rid of them in like, just one click, and they're gone. The biggest problem I had was people who would watch my videos and they'd do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Literally, make the same mistakes I did in my videos, because my videos were always raw, unscripted, and maybe that's why people enjoyed watching them. But if I made a mistake at the beginning, you could guarantee that mistake was also at the beginning of their video.
Yeah.
And you can't really do anything about that, because it's like, how do you prove that it's like... But yeah, I had a couple of them.
That's the thing what happened to me, because this Keda dude uploaded his video and it got super big, and then every damn Indian on this planet copied that video and made the same mistakes and also called it Gemma and didn't link to my GitHub or give any copyright, also uploaded to somewhere else, and horrible. Really annoying. And still there's like a new Wi-Fi Jammer video from some Indian dude getting online every day. I'm not joking. I have a link I check every day. And
look, these Indian YouTubers are still better than the ones that open up a text, a notepad, and start typing.
Yeah.
And do the screen recording with like the Bandicam on the top and like
Cam Studio.
Oh yeah, that
hyper unregistered hypercam. If you know, you know.
Unregistered, yeah. I mean, and they were typing in the common, like in the notepad. But why? Did they think that what they are doing is illegal, and then if they don't speak, then they can't get located or what, or like identified?
I don't know.
Or they just simply don't have a microphone. I mean, there is the possibility of that, but
There's probably got like their entire family in the same room as them.
Oh yeah,
so it's gonna be that. It's gonna be like all 15 brothers, 25 cousins, and just they're all in the same room.
Talking about that, I also sent DMCA takedown to the to one of the GitHub repositories that copied my code. Because on GitHub you can just fork it or anything. But there was this guy just making a new repository, copying my code and removing all the copyrights. I was like, no. I made an issue. He wasn't replying after 2 or 3 days. I messaged the GitHub support and the GitHub support was on it immediately. And then I got an email from that guy making that GitHub repository. And that's also, at the same time, I noticed, hey, funny, that GitHub repository was linked to the Keda video. That was the thing you were downloading under the video. I didn't see that before because, he put it in like bit.ly link and you just got a zip file out of it. But it was from that GitHub. And then Keda's brother, I think his brother was it, messaged me. And I think he apologized or something and said that he's gonna fix it or something. But that was interesting because then I noticed, this Keda guy on YouTube, if you go through his videos, basically all of them are stolen. And the guy managing the YouTube channel is not the guy you see in the video, but his brother. You even see it in the video where you see the Wi-Fi networks and stuff. The Wi-Fi networks you see in the video he made about my de-offer is named after his brother.
Oh boy.
I don't know what's going on there, but it's a family business, this YouTube channel. But yeah, he has now 50,000 subscribers, but he hasn't uploaded something in a year now. So whatever, but I don't know, these YouTube trends, like everyone needed to make a bad video about cutting something with a 1,000-degree knife, fidget spinners, like these kind of things. He jumped on all of these trains, and if there is something getting popular, he made a video about it. He copied videos. He copied the video about my de-offer, but somehow made it even worse. He copied videos from other DIY channels about how to build some transmitters or whatever, cameras.
Oh, and he also did a video like the offer vs the offer. Who would win?
That's go on YouTube and watch that.
Will it blow up?
What? No.
That was in the title or in the
title
image?
Was Wi-Fi Jammer versus Wi-Fi Jammer, and in the video he said, what's gonna happen? Will they explode?
No, they're probably both gonna spit out a lot of de-offing packets, you moron.
I don't know what and the whole time he calls it a jammer.
I've never seen that.
The whole time he calls it a jammer, but like half of the video then he's switching to play with his Pokemon figures. It's really weird. No joke, just watch that video. I mean, I'm totally serious here. That's really weird. I mean, yeah. But moving on from those Indian guys on YouTube, I don't know what is up with them, but they like to make bad hacking tutorials for some reason. There was everything Apple Pro.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
Oh. Wait, can I share my part of this story? Yeah. I mean, nothing crazy, but I was grabbing breakfast, making some cereal, and usually I sit down and watch some YouTube, and I opened YouTube, and what I see is the de-offer, like the Node MCU, and I thought, wait, is it jaunty, or why is it? And then I looked at the title or the uploader and everything Apple Pro, and I was like, holy, spacehuhn got featured on everything Apple Pro, and I was watching everything Apple Pro for years because I did jailbreaking and stuff on my old iPhone, and so I was watching everything Apple Pro a lot, and it was really intense, and I remember I had a Discord closed, and I just opened Discord, and all the messages from the server, because all of you guys were like freaking out, like, and everything was going insane. Yeah, that was also crazy for me, seeing it in my sub feed, like what?
I woke up to like 50 Twitter notifications. No, even more. I had more notifications than the app could display me. The app would just tell
99 plus.
The app would just tell me I have 25 notifications, and then I scroll down through all the 25, and then it would say I have another 25 new notifications, and so on.
Yes, because everything Apple Pro didn't put the source code because it's illegal. Jammer.
It's on GitHub.
And he didn't put the source code. He just put your Twitter handle, and everyone was going to your Twitter handle, and
I got
weird.
I got dozens of people tweeting at me, hey, where can I buy your Wi-Fi jammer? It's like, what's going on? And yeah, in his video, He didn't link the GitHub or any information about it. He just linked my Twitter account for some reason. And it's not like I didn't really promote my Twitter account before. I mean, Jonty also just linked to my GitHub, I think. So
yeah, but you got a lot of followers from everything Apple Pro.
I went from like 200 followers to 500 on that weekend, I think. Or in like a matter of 2 days or something. And the video is so wrong. Like wrong on a level that is somehow even worse than what Kedar did. I mean, okay, he didn't do the Wi-Fi jammer versus Wi-Fi jammer thing, but
yeah, but he didn't research it at all. Yeah. He was calling it a jammer, and it was weird because I watch everything I'm not really watching it anymore, but with the jailbreak stuff, he gets like really technical. Not really, but he does a little research about what he is actually making a video about, And for the de-offer, it looked like he basically did nothing. Was he doing it for clickbait or like views or what? I think
it was a great clickbait. I think the video now has nearly 2 million views.
Ooh, try 3 million.
Whoa.
It's nearly at 3 million views. I'm looking at it now.
Really? Last time I looked at it, it had 1.8 million.
The illegal $5 Wi-Fi jammer for iPhone and Android.
You have the title.
I mean,
and iPhone.
It doesn't have to do
iPhone and Android.
With the Android or iPhone. It's...
Yeah, I'm going to say, does this not work on laptops?
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't have to do with any of that. And it's not a jammer. And it doesn't have to do with the Node MCU, because he was explaining, like, the whole device is the Node MCU. Like, my software is my software, and that is just a development board for makers. And yeah, I mean, it's two different things. And he is in the video at the end where he's going over the FCC statements that he totally misinterpreted. He is pointing at the Node MCU and saying that this thing can block emergency calls.
Oh,
what the fuck? No, it cannot.
Yes, but I think everything Apple Pro's video was the thing that caused that people started, because he didn't have a link for it or anything, and people started reselling it on eBay and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is really bad.
After his video, people on eBay started to sell it for like $20, $30. And I mean, we are talking here about a Node MCU. Like the the cheapest Node MCU you can get, and they cost $2 on AliExpress, or maybe $2.50, and they have free shipping usually. And if you buy 20 of them, you can get them even cheaper. And yeah, these guys are buying them and selling them on eBay for $20 then. They just have to plug them in, click upload, wait 5 seconds, unplug them, and they turned a $2 product in something people pay $20 or $30 for. And if you go on eBay and look it up, there are some sellers that sold hundreds of them.
And it's still going on. If you search for Wi-Fi jammer on eBay, I think then you get like products, and they have like the fire icon, it's trending and all of that. But it's just a Node MCU flashed with a de-offer. You can do that for way cheaper, or you should buy spacehuhn's custom boards, because they
actually
better
offer
than buying
something
it from
more.
someone. Yeah, you have like custom stuff, not just the Node MCU, because you are also supporting spacehuhn, which is way better. But I don't think these people really cared about that kind of stuff.
No, they just wanted their cheap Wi-Fi jammer. It's not a Wi-Fi jammer.
Yes.
Even now you're saying it.
I was saying it in the beginning to get attention.
It's contagious.
I was saying it in the beginning when I tweeted at Satonic, because also I wanted to get attention, really. But I mean, even after that video, I stopped calling it that way, and I explained it on the GitHub why it is different from a jammer and that stuff. And yeah, maybe by some laws of some country, it could be falling under the same rules in certain circumstances, but in general it's technically something different, and you should not call it that way, or if you call it that way, explain what it actually is. Because I don't have an issue if you make a video and put like Wi-Fi jammer in the title, if you in the video actually explain what it is. But all these people just copy-pasted the title, and they didn't do any research on it. They just kept on calling it a Wi-Fi jammer. But it's not. It's... And these FCC statements that often got mentioned, also by Everything Apple Pro, the FCC has very strict laws against jammers, like in most countries. But yeah, this doesn't count as a jammer, and there was never, I don't think there was ever a case where the FCC went against a private individual de-offing another private individual. The only cases that happened was that there was this hotel that automatically de-authenticated every other network in the area, so you had to buy the hotel Wi-Fi. And the hotel was even surprised that that is illegal because they just used a feature in the Cisco routers firmware. So it's not like they did some shady stuff. No, it's just like a little checkbox you click on the web interface. And all the Cisco...
Yes, but it can't block emergency calls and all of that, so
no,
that's like totally bullshit what he said in the video.
Yeah. And that case where the FCC fined that hotel, they said in the document that this they go against this because it's they have a commercial interest and it's unfair for the user. So they said that this is especially bad because it's a hotel and they did it intentionally and for commercial use. So you can't apply that on like your brother de-authing you because he's edgy. Those two things doesn't relate to each other.
Count
it's bullshit.
Yep.
But I mean, yeah, basically that whole thing got me kind of famous. I don't know. And I did some other projects like the Wi-Fi Ducky or the ARP spoofer, and I'm continuing to do that. But
yeah, look, you were looking up to me for my projects, and now you have way more stars than me on GitHub. So yeah, it turned around quickly because you got featured on so many places. But I mean, it's a really good project. So that's something that you can go viral because it's so cheap and easy to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought before I published it, I thought that this could go viral and really become popular. But I was like, but does it really? I mean, what if no one just looks at it and then it's just that? And I thought this is going to be the case. I thought, this could become very famous. But at the same time I was thinking, but it's probably unrealistic that anyone would care. But it was basically luck that Satonic answered me, because what if he didn't answer? I probably lost interest after some time. Or maybe after like 2 or 3 months, I would have posted it somewhere else, and maybe then would have caught attention. But
yeah, so, just lesson learned from both of us, that you can't just put it on GitHub and expect people to, look at it. You have to do some work for yourself and promote it for yourself, because otherwise you will not be. It just doesn't work that way, that you upload it and it works by, instantly. Yeah,
pretty much. And a lot of a lot of people that are successful in general, it's also luck is a big part of it most of the time.
Yes.
So keep that in mind. But yeah, I mean, that's basically my story.
Well, I guess it's my turn. You guys have raised some good bits about the putting stuff out on GitHub and just kind of being disappointed when it doesn't go anywhere. A lot of it is to do with putting in your own graft, putting in your own work and stuff to be getting it, to get it to the YouTubers, get it to Reddit and stuff like that. And also luck is a big part of it, and I think that's where my YouTube career, in abbreviations, also came into play. But to go right back, the year is 2008, and I learned about batch scripting, making some really basic scripts, and just seeing it's that age-old story when people say that they started off programming and they see the first time that a computer has spat out whatever you put in onto the screen for the first time, and that was Batch for me. So Batch, if you don't know, Batch is it's the scripting language that's built into Windows. It's been around since, it's basically DOS in an essence. It's kind of been replaced now by PowerShell, but I still use it because, I don't know, the PowerShell syntax is really ugly. So yeah, my first programming or scripting language was Batch, and I made some like adventure games, some basic stuff like that, and that's how it like kind of started. And then in 2011, I stumbled across a forum called hackforums.net.
Oh
and
boy!
Some people might know of Hack Forums. When I was on there, it wasn't that bad, but maybe that's because I was younger. For reference, by the way,
you just didn't know better.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm 22 for reference. I think I'm the oldest here.
Oh, yeah, I'm 20 by the way, and David, you're 16, right?
Yep, I'm 16. Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe then it wasn't that bad, or maybe it's because I was ignorant to what was really going on. But that is when I became the ultimate script kid. I was downloading every tool, every hacking tool, every script. Every remote administration tool. My PC was probably riddled more than a street sex worker with viruses. But yeah, this is where I started YouTube. I have a similar experience to both Stefan and David because I also had the Minecraft servers, the Garry's Mod servers, the TeamSpeak servers, the Ventrilo servers, every server.
Yeah.
If there is a server, I've had it.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft private servers, RuneScape private server, I've had them all. I remember I made a World of Warcraft private server and I was hiring game masters to come and work on the private, not work, but just they get game master privileges, man. You get to go to GM Island, and GM Island is is the shit. So I made a YouTube video that was like, oh, I need some game masters to come help me run this server. Little did they know they need Hamachi to get onto it. So all these guys are coming on through Hamachi, and this server's just running on this Asus laptop. It is like, it is crap, and I'm like, okay guys, I'm going to bed now, so the server's gonna go offline because there's no way I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm not sleeping with this hairdryer going on.
Yeah.
So it'd be like 9 o'clock and be like, right, server's going down for maintenance. So that's kind of how that worked. But my first ever video that really took off was setting up a Minecraft bucket server. Some people might know of a guy on YouTube called Gigafied or Tinkernut. I don't know if you guys do or not.
Tinkernut.
But he does a lot of DIY kind of makey stuff.
With the hat?
Yeah, with the hat.
Oh,
you
know
that guy.
Yep.
But he was holding a competition where you could make a video, and if you liked it, he would basically promote it on his channel. And that's where it started. I made a Minecraft bucket server, showed people how to set it up. I downloaded a YouTube intro template, like just opened it up in Sony Vegas and changed the text to be mine. And then I remember when I put the video on YouTube and submitted it, and I kind of had this feeling in the back of my head that like, this is definitely I'm gonna win this because.
Did you upload that to your current YouTube channel?
No, this was on a different YouTube channel. So before JackkTutorials, I went by the name online as Chuckles for some strange reason. So it was called Chuckles Tutorials. I think it's still there, but there's no on it. And then somewhere in that YouTube channel, I transitioned over to JackkTutorials. But this is like way back. This is 2010, 2011. So I had a feeling that it was gonna take off because this is in the age where people were recording at 4:9 aspect ratio at 720p if you're lucky, and also a good old Notepad text document where you could watch some guy type at 20 words per minute. So I was, I had the voice, I had the high quality, and I just kind of knew what I was doing. So that won, and that was when. You guys were saying how your Twitters were blowing up. You're getting more followers and notifications that the app can handle. Well, I was sat on the YouTube home screen refreshing like every 5 minutes, and the YouTube counter was going up 50, 100, 150, 200, 500, and it was just going up and up and up. So that's how that started with the YouTube thing, and that's somewhere around there I transitioned over to JackkTutorials, and I started making the Garry's Mod videos. I don't know if you guys know the Garry's Mod videos.
Oh yeah, I scrolled down once, and you had all of these Garry's Mod stuff.
Yeah, a lot of them got a lot of views because that game is, I played that game, the shit out of that game. I got like 1,500 hours in it or something like that, and I was showing people how to make the custom scripts with Lua. I don't even know Lua. I was just robbing code. I don't even care that everyone does, kind of. It was more the aspect of how you set it up, not the scripting aspect of it. It was how you actually set it up and get people onto it. So I was doing the Garry's Mod stuff, and that's when I kind of stumbled across a little tool called Backtrack, and that was, for people that don't know, the tool before Kali Linux. A Biofensive Security, it's the same company that do Kali, but it was called Backtrack 5 back then. And I started doing like the wireless WEP cracking with Backtrack and WPA cracking with Backtrack, and I thought it was the best thing ever, especially the WEP one. So for people that don't know, WEP is probably the most unsecure wireless security out there. I think it just does it. I can't remember because it was so long ago how the vulnerability is. It just does it.
Yeah, cracking web is actually pretty fun. I did that at the hacker conference. There was like a CTF thingy, and I saw web, and like, I think I remember how to do it. And you have like 3 terminals, and you're capturing all the data. And if you capture enough stuff, then AirCrack can just basically crack the key.
Yeah, that was it. It's when you get enough packets, isn't it? It can the key's in there unencrypted or whatever. So that was good. You could probably do that on a Nintendo DS or something. And he just linked me a video to how to hack Windows 7 passwords. I can't remember what is that video. I
don't know, but you used that stock photo with like the guy in the thing trying to get the password off the screen.
Oh yes, I was the king of thumbnails. It's probably a good job that YouTube auto-generate thumbnails for you now, because I was terrible. Everything used the same font, and it was some kind of Shanghai Chinese takeaway font, and it was just terrible. So yeah, I think that was some tool. I don't know. It was Windows 7. Leave me alone. So yeah, I'm dicking around on hack forums. I'm infecting myself with Trojans. I'm teaching people how to script and run custom scripts that basically do everything for you. Not really understanding what the hell is going on. In the meantime, I'm at high school. I'm not, I'm kind of the same as Stefan, really. I wasn't into school. I was always the why kid. Like, why do we have to do this? Why am I doing this? I will never use this, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Apart from IT, where in IT, I'd like bring up a portable version of, is it Dev C++? I'd bring in a portable version of Dev C++ on a USB stick and like run it on the workstations and just do C++ for some strange reason and just be that edgy kid that's just coding and not doing his Word documents or whatever, and people be like, what are you doing, and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, I'm making a calculator, and it's well high tech. And that was like playing around with scripts, making people's like CD drives open and close, and sending messages to people that said it just pops up on the screen. And just when it was IT, I was just abusing this, I was just abusing it. It's like when you learn that you can lock people's accounts if you put the password in wrong 4 times, and it's just like some guy would come into class and like sit down to do some work, and it's like he logs into his account and it's just like, your account's been disabled, and you're like, what the hell? So we used to do that every day. Just every day we'd be locking people's accounts out. And I remember one time the teacher came in, went to the teacher's workstation to log in, and she put a password in, hit enter, and it's like, your account's been disabled because we'd locked the teacher's account out. So she had to walk across and like go to IT and be like, can you unlock my account? And we timed it perfectly, so she got her account unlocked, came back, and as soon as she walked back in the room, her account was already locked out again, and we just did it again and again and again. So not a lot of work got done then. So high school, some important thing for people is that your grades matter to some extent. I'm not some kind of A kid. I don't have loads of A's. I don't have any A's at GCSE. In the UK, that's our grading system, so I don't have any of those, and it don't even matter nowadays because I'm 22 years old, so who cares if I can do maths in high school, you know what I mean? Or read Shakespeare, it doesn't matter. So then, after high school, I go to college and I'm doing it's called an IT Extended Diploma. And it's a full-time course where you do hardware, networking, and one other thing, programming. Hardware, networking, and programming. As well as like multimedia design, website design, game design, using Game Maker. So I'm doing college. I'm enjoying college. College is great because it's just you go there and you do what you want to do. So if people that don't know, in college, it's the place you go after high school but before university. It's like a middle ground. Most people either go to college or they will do apprenticeships or be an intern, for people that use that word as well. So while I'm at college, I'm doing more YouTube videos as well. I'm doing VB.net. I'm doing some more backtrack and Metasploit, and I'm picking up knowledge of server technologies like SSH and FTP and all that kind of good stuff. And still going around on hack forums and Google and YouTube. But I'm not really working on anything at this point. I'm kind of just learning. And when I say, there's a lot of stuff you can do nowadays, especially with virtual machines. They let you do you can set up your own environments to break stuff. You don't have to, have additional hardware. You just run all this stuff on your own system and just play. It's just a massive playground. Yeah. So college is starting to dwindle. I'm starting to realise that I'm not really learning anything. Our programming classes consist of, this is 2014 by the way, and we are using the 16-bit language Pascal. And Pascal is just the worst language. The syntax is horrible. I don't think there's any curly brackets or anything like that. It's all it's just awful. I can't do any work at home because I've got a 64-bit operating system and it will only work on a maximum of 32-bit. So we're doing Pascal. Pascal's really fun. So I just do the whole course in C++ and no one ever knew. And I'm doing VB6, which is also an awful language. And for our networking classes, we are using Windows Server 2003. And yeah, I was starting to be like, this is pathetic. I mean, Server 2003. And this is when the teachers start going like, we can't teach you. And they're speaking to me individually. They're like, we can't teach you anything. You've kind of screwed us over because you've done the programming for the entire class. Because people are like struggling to do like basic stuff in VB. And I'm the kind of person that's like, I can't be bothered to explain it to you, just let me do it for you. So at this point, my work has been shared around the entire class. Everyone's using my work for everything. Yeah. But I finished college anyway. I stick it out. I get triple A star at level 3 or whatever. It's called Distinction Star here, but it's the equivalent to A star at A level. And I applied for a job at a custom PC building company called PC Specialist. So we are the number one custom PC manufacturers in the UK. And I just apply as a laptop builder. That's all I want to do, is just build laptops. And for some reason, I have it in the back of my head that this job is my dream job. This is where my career is going to be. I will build laptops until I retire. So I go to the interview and I have my CV at hand. Obviously on my CV is my YouTube channel, my college grades, and the guy doing the interview looks at the CV, looks at me and says, "Are you sure you want this job?" And I'm like, yeah, of course I want this job. And he's like, "You are way too good for this place," in essence. Like he said, "Are you sure you want this job?" I was like, "Yeah, of course I want this job. This is my first job out of college. I need a job." So he's like, "Well, okay then," and I start working at PC Specialist, building laptops. And I lasted 4 months at building laptops. That's how this job that I thought I was going to be doing for the rest of my life lasted 4 months. And I started showing interests in other departments at this PC place, at this PC Specialist company. So now I am a laptop tester. And from laptop testing is where the customers' laptops will go into the testing department, and they will be installed with Windows, tested, quality controlled, and stress tested, and all that kind of stuff. Make sure they're all good. From laptop testing, I lasted about 2 months in there before I became the problem fixer. So the laptops that broke, I would then fix, and this was including everything. So I can strip a laptop down and I can repair any aspect of a laptop basically through doing this job. Screen changes, motherboard changes, everything, I can do it all. And at this point, I'm still doing YouTube, so I'm still learning massive amounts. The YouTube scene is growing. This is probably like 2015, so my traction for YouTube is really going. People are putting in search terms and my channel's coming up straight away, and my videos are good. I'm doing like trending topics, like Bitcoin was a thing that was coming about now, so I'm like straight on that with ASIC miners and mining Bitcoins on some old laptop that I found. And people are loving it. It's all good. So I'm on top of the world right now. And I start to notice that this company that I'm working for is that everything's really basic. Like, there's not a lot of bespoke applications or scripts or tools being used. So I messaged the guy that's doing the networking. He's the network administrator there, and he does all the servers and that. And I'm like, why? I don't know if you guys know what a HTA is, a HTML application or something like that. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's basically HTML that runs in like a wrapper in Windows.
Oh,
and for some, it's just like, I think it's just a HTML renderer that's built into Windows, and it's, for some reason, all of the tools that we are using are written in HTA, which is just HTML and basic, very, very basic JavaScript. Maybe not even JavaScript. I don't think you can run JavaScript on it. So I messaged him, I'm just like, yo, why are we using HTA for everything? And he's like, just because that's all I know. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? Some like custom work and see what we can do? And he's like, oh yeah, what language do you know? And I'm like, oh, Visual Basic. And he's like, yeah, let's give it a go. So that same day, all the HTA applications we're using, I took them all home and I rewrote them in Visual Basic and brought them all back in the next day. And that's when I started doing a lot of the programming work for PC Specialist, all the custom applications and stuff that we use, which I can't really talk too much about because we don't, there's competitors out there that might hear what we're doing and be like, that is a well good idea, why didn't we think of that? And plus, a lot of it is very custom to us, so people won't really know what was going on anyway. So I'm now doing Visual Basic for this company. I've never programmed for a company before, but I'm doing it, and I'm getting it. And now people are like coming to me like, can you do this? Can you make this? Can you do this? And so I'm trying to like be this laptop repair guy and do programming at the same time, and do YouTube at the same time. So it's all coming to, and YouTube's really kicking off now. I've gone past 100,000 subscribers. My views are like into the tens of millions of views. My plaques come through, the silver play button, and I'm making some decent money from it as well. So at this point, I'm considering maybe quitting PC Specialist and going YouTube full time. Glad that I didn't. Definitely glad that I didn't do that, because that would have been a very silly mistake to do. Because after the recent events, every video that I've uploaded to YouTube just gets demonetized immediately. So I won't be making any money from that. I stick out PCS, and the guy who is the network administrator, he leaves, and I get handed the job. And this is where all my C#, PHP, and MySQL all come into play, because I have to learn it for me to do my job. So I'm learning C#, I'm doing PHP, MySQL. I've got all this Linux knowledge now because I've been doing the YouTube, and I can kind of get my head around anything system-wise. I think some people are just they just get it, don't they? They just get it. Where
if you don't have to know all the stuff, but you can understand what's really going on.
I can look at a programming language and know exactly what's going on, and I can look into a network and see what's going on. And just, I don't know, I think some people get it, some people don't, and that's fine. Some people are good at other stuff, some people aren't. It's the way it is. So currently, I was doing YouTube, but it's kind of died off now. I'm not in a suitable place to be doing YouTube. A big part of this is this kind of, I think it's like a phenomenon called imposter syndrome, where you feel like you don't belong kind of thing. I don't know if you guys have ever got it where you don't, people are all kind of looking up to you, and they're like, this guy's amazing and all this, and you're just like, meh, I'm alright. And then you just kind of, and then like people will be like, oh, you did this wrong, and then you're gonna get this imposter syndrome where you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. So that played a big part into it. And also I moved out, and I've had that many problems recently with just even wanting to record. Like, to do this podcast, I've had to put a hole in my desk. And the mic stand's, like, collapsing, and, yeah. But so, unfortunately, I don't really do YouTube that much, but we'll talk more on that later when we talk about currently. But,
wait,
yeah,
one
that's
question.
kind of how it all started.
One question, may I ask here? I just looked at all of your videos, and I remember I saw this, and but I didn't really remember the interview with Sammy Kamkar. How
yeah,
did
the interview with Sammy Kamkar.
How did you do that? I mean, Sammy is like a really big deal. How?
I just sent him an email.
Whoa. Okay.
nothing. I was just looking at his website because I was binge watching some of his videos. For people who don't know who Sammy Kamkar is, you might remember back in 2005. These are the MySpace days where people are playing music on their profiles and that. Sammy Kamkar discovers a JavaScript worm, is it? And he basically makes it. Oh no, it's an XSS script, isn't it?
Yeah.
He makes it so it's adding people to his friends list, and then it spreads to their profile, and it adds them, and
it goes through
millions and millions
LinkedIn.
of people are infected with this.
MySpace,
it just spreads through, and he actually got arrested for it, and he wasn't allowed to touch a computer for, I think it was like 2 years or something like that.
Yeah.
There is
when I say arrested, he had his door like kicked in, like
this is something I really found kind of crazy. I mean, why isn't he not allowed to touch a computer, and why does he even get such a penalty for just using an exploit? I mean,
this is 2005. Don't forget.
I mean, he doesn't do any real damage. I mean, this is just like a fun little.
But we were all very ignorant and naive to it back then. This is seen as a big deal because I think it cost MySpace a lot of money.
Yeah.
It took it down, didn't it?
They have to take it down. There is actually a really good video about this. If you search for Sammy Kamkar, there is like an animated version. I don't know, made by some big
that's the one. That's the one. Yeah,
big news channel, and they have like the full thing animated about the whole worm. And the MySpace had to put the site down because otherwise they can't really stop the worm. And the website was down for like, I don't know what amount of time, and they probably lost a lot of money and also reputation and stuff because of this. So I think that was the reason. But also, back then, people wasn't really aware of this security stuff, and they don't know what's happening.
Yeah, but they came and kicked his doors in.
And they even the car, they stole the car. They did.
They took his car, didn't they?
They took his car and then like go through his whole apartment and all of that. It was really intense. Yeah.
The interview with Sammy Kamkar was cool because he was a really. I sent the email. I was like, I'm like, obviously I didn't say but I'm like, I'm a big fan of you. I do my own kind of hacking and security related stuff. This is probably back just after I hit 100,000 subs, so I've got my domain as well, so people know that I'm official. So I emailed him. Didn't really expect to reply, but then within like maybe 3 hours, he emailed me back saying, "Yeah, sure, I'm free here at this time." And I was like, "That's cool. Look at what time it's going to be for me. 4 a.m. 4 o'clock in the morning." So I'm like, all right, ace. I'm going to have to get up at 4 a.m. and interview this guy. But yeah, he had a lot of interesting stuff to say. And it's not even just the MySpace worm that's cool. He's done the droid jacking, not the droid jacking, the drone jacking where he flies up to drones and takes controls of them.
Oh yeah,
I know. So much cool stuff. But that
interview
interview didn't do as well as I thought it would do, which is a shame because he's very influential.
Yes, and his projects are really great. I mean, he also has like DEFCON talks and all of that, which I watched, and I'm also like a big fan. I was just like surprised that you got him on an interview, but I mean, it wasn't easy then.
He's also big. He is a big inspiration for me as well. Especially when I started with my hacking Arduino stuff. Because he also did like this keyboard sniffer.
Yeah, with the wireless keyboards.
Yeah, like
that thing was insane. Like it was listening on the 2.4 gigahertz band, wasn't it? And it was just
that's really intense.
Did you guys saw the talk when he hacked the garage doors and you could open any garage door?
Oh yeah, I think I watched that.
Oh, it was with a child's toy, wasn't it? That he did that with?
He actually made it with that.
Yeah.
So he has,
and he's done
a
like
lot
the
of
motion
great
detectors
stuff.
as well, where he sprays like something over motion detectors. But the one that is like intense, where you're just like, what in the world, is where he freezes RAM modules to extract encryption keys from them. I don't know if you guys saw that video.
Ooh, I maybe saw the video, but I can't remember.
Not sure.
Really.
Like, to understand to even come up with that idea, because he would basically, the encryption keys are obviously stored in the RAM for a short amount of time, because RAM loses its information after the machine's turned off. But what he figured out was if you get them like a device cold enough, you are able to extract the encryption keys in some kind of way around that. Obviously, I've explained it in the most basic way ever. But he did that, and that was intense. It's like, how did you come up with this? But yeah, he's really smart, and he deserves to be where he is and having his doors kicked in.
Yes.
What did you just say? He deserves to having his doors kicked in?
No, he deserves to be where he is, but you got to think he wouldn't be there if he didn't have his doors kicked in.
Yeah, he's definitely made probably an impact in him as well to continue this stuff. I mean, if he could achieve something like that, then he can probably do other
It's
stuff.
just a shame that
as
it
well.
starts off with your front door being ruined, but
Yeah.
but yeah, that's kind of how I started. YouTube has been a big, long journey. It's had some very highs and some very lows. I've been doxxed. I've had my identity stolen. I've had, for some reason, some people, when they found out that I worked at PC Specialist, they were like, "Oh, I know what's a really good idea. Why don't we try and we'll tweet PC Specialist and say that this guy is doing illegal videos online." So that was fun.
Wow. And how did how did they react to it?
Because I'm like one of my mates at PC Space. We're a small company, so it's not like it's a PR department. Yeah. It's a PR guy. So, I mean, people knew that I was a YouTuber. But then, like, they were tweeting the PC Specialist Twitter. I'm like, this guy's making illegal videos, and I'm just like, wonderful. And it was actually a guy called Link Cabin that started that whole thing off. So yeah, thanks for that, mate.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not illegal.
No, they're not illegal, but I think it was one of my rap videos, and he decompiled the binary. I don't know but I remember, when I was sponsored by Bug Crowd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you were constantly sponsored by them.
They're a good company, and I'm not even being paid to say that anymore. They are,
I like them. I will get back on that a bit.
Yeah.
But they messaged me, was like, "Do you know anyone else who kind of does the videos that you do? What do you think of this Link Cabin guy?" I was like, "Oh yeah, he's a dick. don't take him on." So that's what you get.
Great.
Trying to ruin my career. But yeah, it was fun. And that's how I started. So I guess we can move on to the next topic.
Yep. Then I think I should start with this one. Is that what we are currently doing? That's our next topic, basically. And me, I am a high school student right now, which is, I would say, nothing special. I don't like it. It's just basically taking the time away from my own stuff. What I would like to do. And in the summer I have time for it, and that's great. But when you have the school, you have all of that stuff, and you only have time in the afternoons, and it's I don't really see a real point of it at the moment. But I think we'll have a different podcast episode for this.
About school?
Yeah. But
and it's a whole new topic.
Yes, so basically I am in high school at the moment, and I still have 2 years in high school, so fun stuff, but looks like it's just gonna take time away, and I'm gonna do my own stuff when I have time for it, and that's it. And so what I do basically now is I got a part-time web developer job, and I'm doing like PHP and JavaScript stuff, and I started learning to use like a proper framework, and I started using Laravel. I don't know if anyone familiar with it. And now I also starting to learn a front-end framework like Vue.js. They go actually pretty well together. And yeah, that's just what I want to do with this part-time job, that, I learn a lot of stuff with it, and then later I will have this skill set, because having a back-end, front-end skill set is actually kind of something that you can, just sell and make a website for someone with everything in it, so you don't have to hire a front-end developer. So yeah, that's web development is one of my like part-time stuff. And I also started doing bug bounty, and here comes Bugcrowd in the game. I actually, a few months ago, it was like 2 or 3 months ago, I looked at all of these people tweeting it about, how big of a bounty they got on Bugcrowd and like HackerOne and Bug Bounty forums, and I was like, this is not possible. I mean, how? Really? This is crazy amounts of money, especially in Hungary. So I was really hyped on it. So, how cool would this be if I could do the same thing? And I decided that I would go for it, and let's see how it goes. And in like 3 months, I started, learning about stuff. I started reading books. I have a Twitter thread about it on my Twitter. It's actually the pinned tweet, but probably if you're listening to it later, it's not gonna be pinned anymore. But anyways, I started doing bug bounty now, and I first started with like point-only program. It was Under Armour, the clothing brand, and like the Endomondo running app and all of that. And it was a point-only program, so you don't get money, but I got to the first place there on the Hall of Fame, which I'm really, really hyped for. It was like a month ago. And now I also started doing like actual bounty programs that pay, and got my first bounty, which I am also super hyped for. And just as we speak, like a few hours before, my new phone arrived, and that actually I bought from the bounty money from Bugcrowd. So yeah, bug bounty seems like something which is super interesting and fun, and such a great opportunity, because for bug bounty you don't have to have the paper, the college education or anything. That they basically don't care about it. If you have a valid vulnerability and you report it, and it's actually a bug, then it doesn't matter how old are you, where do you live, or any of that stuff. It's just your skill basically matters, and that's, I think, super cool. So I would recommend bug bounty for anyone, and you just have to put in the work, and you can actually get really good results with it. So that's my other stuff. And Jack, you are sponsored by Bugcrowd, and I was seeing Bugcrowd all over the place on your channel. And I actually, for some reason, I am more familiar with Bugcrowd, and I started using Bugcrowd and not HackerOne. Maybe it was your videos, and the sponsorship actually worked, because they
I'm sure Bugcrowd will be thrilled to hear that. I know they definitely will with the conversations I've had with them.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I just like the company, and I have this feeling that Bugcrowd is like more familiar for me than HackerOne, and that's why I started, because there are 2 platforms mainly for bug bounty, Bugcrowd and HackerOne, and I started with Bugcrowd, and I like it, but I just started, so I'm not sure about how this will go. But if you're interested in my bug bounty tweets, which are like happening, you should follow me on Twitter, because there's a lot of stuff at xdavid too. Yeah. And also I am still doing, but not at the moment, actually open source stuff, like my projects, but I kind of put it on a pause, because bug bounty was actually a great way for me to, get some money, because that was actually quite necessary for me at the moment. And that's why I put open source projects on a bit of a pause right now, but I will try to get back on doing that, and also doing something other than these Python scripts on GitHub and open source stuff. So I'm definitely excited for that. But that's it for now. I think I'm mostly doing this stuff at the moment. Yep. So that's for me. Yep.
Yeah. About me, I'm currently studying computer science. I just started last year. I think I told about my school and that I learned the basics there, and I really thought I was good in programming, and I still think I was at that point. But now in university, I have to say we have a very strict teacher. I don't know how to say it, but like we are really digging in all the little details, and I've got so much better at programming. And this is really also where I'm currently focusing on improving my programming skills. And yeah, I'm doing my open source projects on GitHub, and I do some YouTube videos. And I really like my open source projects, and but I'm also doing them just to improve my skills really. It's not only about, I don't know, getting famous or anything, but a lot of the stuff I do and the projects I'm doing and in which order I update them and that stuff, it's always determined by what we're currently learning. So I try to combine that a bit. I don't have any part-time job or anything, not like David with the web development. I'm also not overloading myself with the university stuff either. I'm actually taking less modules than I should, but that's also a thing here in Germany, especially in computer science. You get the hardest modules are in the first 2 semesters because they I don't know why, but I think they are trying to sort out people. They want to, because a lot of people apply here for university because it's basically for free. And a lot of people they don't know what they want to do, and they just apply for some reason, and then they go there, and then after 2 or 3 weeks they notice, oh yeah, that's nothing for me, and then leave. We had more people than could fit in a room, and 2 or 3 weeks later the room was half empty. That's how bad it is. Like we have a good 50% dropout. That's crazy. Because that, but I'm trying to focus on that, and when I do the modules, I want to do them like the right way. And I'm working on a lot of stuff in my free time, like the whole open source stuff, and the university stuff is also not easy sometimes. But yeah, I don't have a job. I'm having this little cooperation with Travis Lin, as you may be seen on my YouTube channel, because I constantly every few months or so I do a update video on his new boards. He's selling the de-offer boards, so that's something I'm doing. But I mean, that's not really what I'm doing. He's doing the hardware. I'm writing the software, but I try to keep it updated and stuff. But yeah, currently I'm just trying to focus on the university and combine this with my projects. Of course, I also do my YouTube videos, but that's really just like a side thing for me. I'm not trying to become a famous YouTuber or anything. I mean, you can probably see that from the quality of the videos, but I mean, these are kind of technical anyway, so I don't think people care much about that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. Yeah, and Jack, what are you doing right now?
Well, I'm not doing university. I'm not in college. I'm not learning anything. I'm just working full time for PC Specialist still. So I don't know if I I think I did mention that I'm the system administrator there now. So I handle the entire IT infrastructure, and the Microsoft partnership that we have there as well. So that entails a lot of different stuff. Obviously, an IT infrastructure at an IT company is probably very important to have in place. But because we're still relatively small, it's manageable. I'm the single person who does it, and I like to think that I do it very well. So we do all of that. I also do my own projects, but most of the projects that I do now are for this company alone. Just because, when you're spending 40 hours a week at a company, you kind of realise where certain things would be better, and also it kind of helps you do your own job. So a lot of the projects that I do, they're all for this company to grow and increase production through a variety of automation tools and custom programs and scripts that I've built. and maintain. But yeah, like I said, the company is still relatively new, so there's plenty of room for me to learn and develop in this kind of fresh environment. It's not like I've taken over something that was already established and built. It's got plenty of room for improvement, and it kind of lets me have my own kind of freedom to do whatever I want. And I think that's kind of a good and a bad thing. You know, it's good because you can set up things that don't exist already. But it's kind of bad because you don't always know the best practices at doing it, which certainly does happen more often than not. And I do get a few lovely phone calls at like 6 o'clock in the morning when I've made a change at 4:30 in the afternoon, and then they've discovered that change that I've made doesn't work. And then 6 o'clock in the morning, my phone's ringing like, Jack, what did you do? It was like, I just changed this script.
Oh, man.
But yeah, everyone knows that you can't just change a script and expect it to work. It just breaks all the time. Nothing ever goes according to plan. But I'm having fun with it, so that's what I'm currently doing. So through doing that, I now have this extensive knowledge of Windows Server and Linux, and to kind of be an IT administrator, I can do it. I can understand the networking, all the hardware, managing server rooms and all that kind of stuff, data backups, there's tons of it. For YouTube, I did that, but I think that's probably dried up now. It's a shame that it's kind of come to an end, but the platform itself, the changes that they make, it just drives me further and further away. I upload a video, it gets demonetized. People upload videos all the time and they get demonetized. It kills channels. And it's not even about the money, but you got to think that I spend 40, 50 hours a week working and then come home and do YouTube. To just have the platform I'm using to basically spit in my face and be like, nope. They change people's thumbnails. They make your videos completely hidden. I mean, you guys were saying how, like, the Sami Kamkar video, Sami Kamkar is a very well-known guy in the industry, and YouTube didn't promote the video. And it's like, I have 100,000 subs and you gave it out to 3.2 thousand people.
Yeah,
this guy is a big deal, and, you just haven't, you've made it invisible for people to see. And especially because you don't know what you're doing wrong. That's the best of it. You just don't know what you're doing wrong. So, but if you guys ever want to know what I'm up to or like that, I'm still on Twitter. I'm not as active as I was. You probably just see me retweeting memes, but, I'm not dead.
Yeah.
But I did mention about the imposter syndrome playing a big part in not wanting to be on the platform as well. I know people say just ignore the haters and stuff like that, but the thing is, you can ignore 100 people saying that your videos are awesome, and you'll just fixate on this one guy that's just being an arsehole. So it is what it is. But I had fun doing it. That's all that people really need to know. I was saying earlier, before the podcast started, that if I was going to come back to YouTube, it would be probably under a different channel name. Just because the views I get and the subscribers I have don't align properly, and it's just infuriating. So OCD and that. But yeah, that's what I'm currently doing, just working away with bigger plans for the future, which we will see later.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy how YouTube is changing right now. It feels like they are completely killing all the smaller channels with those changes.
Yeah. But, in retrospect, I'm not even a small channel, but they still kill you.
Yeah, but you're like, for YouTube, you're like middle small channel.
Yeah, I've broken out of the bit where everyone struggles to get out of.
Yeah, but you're not on like...
I'm not on a PewDiePie.
Yeah, you need like 1 million subscribers before they actually care about you.
It's like 190,000 is still a lot of people.
Yeah, really, but I mean...
Yeah.
YouTube.
One of those things. Yeah, YouTube lol. But as I think, because I'm wanting to start like learning more languages and kind of working on some more projects that don't involve my work, so I'm thinking about maybe doing like GitHub and stuff like that. It's because GitHub is, they use this in the industry as well, and I mean, I embarrassingly admitted that I didn't know how to properly use GitHub. Like, I didn't really
Me neither.
get it.
You just start and then you learn it bit by bit.
But for these companies that they want these qualifications and such, and they want projects that you've worked on and stuff, and a lot of these companies, they'll be like, so what's your GitHub? And I turn around and go, I actually don't put anything on GitHub, it's just all on this 1 terabyte hard drive. They'll be like, really? Get out. We won't even get to interview stage.
You said you make a lot of tools. Couldn't you release some of those open source?
The tools are all specific to what I do at work. So what I tend to do is I will look at a department at work. So take the testing department, for example. So our procedure at work is we will deploy Windows to a system. We will then do a quality control on it, check all the USBs are working, set the RAID partitions up if they've got it, basically set the system up to how the customer wants it to be, and test that everything's going to work on it. Make sure that all the hardware that's actually in that system is correct for that system. And these are where these tools start happening. Like, we don't have these people checking each individual component of this machine. We don't do that. We rip all the information out of Windows and compare it against a website. But you can't really release a tool like that because that's specific to this company.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't just release it open source because it's missing the entire backend for the website.
I mean, then you would need to make like some general tool where you can set all this up. But then I guess it's
that's just kind of stuff. It's not bad, I mean, Windows, all the stuff. And we'll move on to this later, but all the stuff for doing this, it's not complicated. It's all there. You just need to know how to get it. How do you think Windows knows what processes in your system? Are you telling me that you don't know that? Are you telling me that you can't get hold of that information that Windows does? Of course you can.
One thing I learned is, even if you think like this is not worth publishing or anything, if you have something that you could share on GitHub, then just do it.
Go for it.
Yeah, because I had problems with some really like highly specific things. I wanted to get some special hardware working, and it wasn't working, and there was no documentation, no example code really. And I searched like over Google, I couldn't find anything, but I searched on GitHub, and there were 2 or 3 repositories, and one of them had exactly the code I needed, and that guy got 0 stars, just one guy watching, and that was probably himself. Like, no one ever looked at this repository probably, other than me and the person who uploaded it, but yet I could really use that code. And yeah, I don't know, maybe
there's some stuff I can release onto there, but like I've got like maybe 40, 45, 50 projects that I've done and finished at work. And some of these, if these got into the hands of competitors, I've got to think about them that way as well. Like, I have just given them such an advantage because now they know exactly what we do. How they might wonder how we automate everything. Yeah. So I was going on about a procedure. So the system then goes onto a very long stress test consisting of about 16 hours of running the system at 100% usage. To make sure that hardware is an unrealistic load, but, it's a load nonetheless. And then in the morning, the people that worked in the testing department would come back in, they'd switch all the systems back on, check that it had all passed. Then they would inject a digital product key for Windows. I don't know if you guys know that is how Windows distribute their licenses now. It's all injected into the BIOS. So they do all that. They then sysprep the machine manually, so get it ready for a customer to have and basically get the out-of-box experience. And I looked at this, I was like, I can probably do this in like maybe 150 lines of code in C#, so I did that. But it's just stuff like that. It's very specific stuff, but I guess you could say that my go-to thing is automation. Just what job do you do that I can take off you? So yeah. I'm gonna be the one that people are gonna start hating because it's like, you took my job off me. I was like, yeah, but this script doesn't make mistakes and you do. So it's one of those. But yeah, I could probably help a lot of people with the scripts that I've done. So GitHub is probably something to look at because, again, when it comes to applying for jobs and stuff, I'm going to be like, I did this and this and this. And they're going to be like, so show us. And I'm like, I can't because it's on a workstation for a company that I don't work at anymore.
Yeah, and you also have to consider if you don't want to share it with the whole world or something. If you just put it on GitHub, no one's going to look at it. It's just you have to manually promote it if you want people to see it. But yeah, I don't think like your competitors will manually search for your GitHub account and see those tools.
Exactly. Not after this podcast.
After the podcast. Oh, they will hear that and then... Oh.
Yeah, well, they do try. They sometimes they email us. Well, they email me specifically, and they're like, "How do I do this?" And I'm like, "Why should I tell you?" I'd rather have you struggle, but I don't know. We're not as bad as it sounds. But at the end of the day, business is business, kind of thing.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next section. Our plans for the futures.
Yep. So I'm gonna start with this again. So for me, for the future, I think I would basically want to do the same thing. At least that's what I'm thinking right now, that I want to do the same thing as I'm doing right now, just get better at it. I want to get better at doing bug bounty, because, that's really cool. The stuff I said before, that anyone can do it, and it doesn't matter who you are, and you can do it after work. So just, come home and do it for a few hours, and maybe you get lucky and find something. So that's something I want to get better with. And as well as doing that, I want to learn a web dev stack, like, the Laravel, Vue.js, basically, framework. So, I could do more complicated web apps in the future, because that's just a good skill to have, to have like a back-end, front-end skill. But that's basically what I said before. And, same thing goes with the open source projects, that I want to get back involved in that, because I feel like I'm not really giving the attention needed to my GitHub projects, so, I mean, there are a lot of issues on my projects, and I never got around of, replying and fixing all of that. But, for GitHub issues, I don't think I have the worst time. spacehuhn could relate with the even worse time with GitHub issues. So.
Oh my God. This is GitHub issues and weird user requests is something we can probably do another episode on. Yeah,
that's also for another topic. But, I also get it. And I get people commenting on making issues on my projects. And, I never really... So I didn't really test it right now. And not sure if it still works or not. And... yeah, I just never got the time to, and never got around to fix those issues. But I want to get back and, update that stuff in the future and make other cool projects. And that's it for me, basically. Or at least I don't have anything else I know at the moment I want to be doing later.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to, you mentioned you want to learn like these frameworks, and yeah, I want to learn so much. I mean, you already know Python and all that. I mean, I looked at it. I did some things with Python. I also did some things in Bash and automation and that stuff. But I never really learned it. Like, I couldn't just go and start programming something in Python. I would have to look up like 90% of the stuff. And yeah, I wanna learn more about that. I wanna do more with Raspberry Pis and that stuff, but I don't know when I'm gonna have the time for that, or maybe I find a project that I can do with it. But yeah, I mean, I have like an endless list of projects and things I wanna do. But yeah, I mean, basically I wanna continue with the projects I'm currently working on. And as I mentioned, I have this little cooperation with Travis Lin, who makes the de-offer boards. And so he's making this custom hardware for me, and I can promote him, and people can get their official de-offer boards and not some scammed thing from eBay. Yeah, I want to continue on that. Yeah, I want to finish university, of course, and I don't know where it takes me after that, really. I don't want to end up really like in a company and do some client work. That's really my nightmare. I want to do my own stuff. Like Jack, you said that you kind of have like a freedom in your company. That's really something I would look for.
It's very unique. Yeah, it's very unique.
Yeah, either that or I just become like self-employed or something. I just want to. I kind of need my freedom. If I just do, if I'm being forced on some project I have to do for weeks, I probably gonna get kind of depressed. But yeah, we will see where it takes me. But for now, I just want to continue really with my projects and continue to learn and become better at programming and that stuff. Yeah.
And my future is determined about what I'm doing now. So I'm kind of setting myself up for the next 10 years or so. It's very overwhelming, the amount of information that's out there, and you've got to be able to try and digest the important bits that are going to help you with your day-to-day life, because that's going to really pay off in future. So I've kind of got two options lined up. I can either grow with the company that I'm working with now and, invest 10 years of my life into this company, so that basically I become, one of the main guys there. Because there's undoubtedly that we're going to, be international, basically. There could be so many opportunities lined up there, to move countries, to work in different countries and stuff like that. So there's so many opportunities that are there, but not there now, but they will be. I remember talking to one of the guys that works there, and he was like, you have the potential to be working as one of the main cogs in this company. And it's kind of good to see that. You're not just one of the, one of the other people that are working there that, they leave and life goes on. I'm kind of one of the main people there. And if I stop turning, then everyone else kind of stops turning. So I could invest 10 years into this company and see where it gets me. Or I can use it because, as I was saying, I'm left to do my own stuff. I can go in one day and be like, I'm going to do this. And I can go in on another day and I'm going to be like, I'm going to do this instead. So like today, I built a new application in C#. The day before that, I was decommissioning a server. Every day is different, and it's setting up how I want to do it. Some days I might be on my hands and knees crawling around the server room running Ethernet cable. It's completely different. So I can use it as like a learning gateway. I have all this experience now that I can kind of do any other job in the same industry, but I have to be certified in the various certifications, like Microsoft certifications, offensive security certifications, Cisco, and all that kind of
that's a good way to go.
But then with them certifications under my belt, I can move on to the bigger companies where the big salaries are. You do kind of lose your identity a bit. Like you do, these big companies. I don't know if you guys ever get a chance to see these big enterprises like Microsoft and, Google and their campuses and stuff like that. I've been to the Microsoft campus in the UK, and it's mental. It's 6 buildings. And we have 1 building, and these companies are really cool to work for. I went down there to do some training, and they're like, "You're in building 3," and it's not a room number; it's a building. Like, oh yeah, you're over in that building there, and you go upstairs, and the rec room is all because Microsoft own Minecraft now, so the whole room is Minecraft themed. And they've got like racing simulators and just a massive LAN just already set up for people to come and play games on. They have popcorn machines and a big cinema, and these massive companies. It's the kind of place where you wouldn't want to go home. So you don't want the ordinary 9 till 5 where you get to work at 9 o'clock and you leave at 5. You want to be finishing work at like 9 o'clock at night because you want a nice office where you've been working all day, and you don't want to go home because your office is, truthfully told, better than your house. and these are what these big companies can provide. It's kind of interesting, really, because you see people that go and work for like Google and stuff like that. They tend to only spend like 2.5 years working there. They don't tend to invest much of their life there. For whatever reason that might be, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's kind of how it's either going to go. I'm going to work for these bigger companies, or the other option is to set up my own company doing IT solutions, because I can, I'm a jack of all trades kind of guy. I can get my head around a network. I can get my head around some bespoke software that you want. So, but the main plan is just to have fun doing whatever you're doing and don't stress too much about it, because it's not a race, it's a marathon. And that's kind of my little bit of wisdom I'm going to inject into this podcast.
Yeah. We have a final, our last section is just a bit about our advice and tips. Yeah.
Okay, so let me start with this. I would say you should find a motivation something you like or something you think is super cool, and you have to start doing that. And you shouldn't just, learn the theory and learn, for example, programming, like you watch all of these videos and stuff. That's great for beginning, but then you have to actually do it, because otherwise you don't really get the experience for it. And, you can learn best by experience, in my opinion. And then if you have experience and you did did the same stuff for a long time and all of that, then you can filter out all of the bullshit and not important stuff that, other people are saying. And you can just, do your own stuff in a way you want to do it, because you have experience and everything. So, if you have something that you really like, and it's like your motivation to do it, and I would say you should just start doing a project in that field, something that you want to do. You want to build a website, you want to build an application, then you could just start doing it. If you don't know how to get started, then it's not a problem. You should start doing it, and every time you get stuck, you could just use Google. You can use Google for everything. So it's basically there for you to get any information you want, And if you get stuck, you just use Google and you solve the problem. And if you do this loop, that you get in a place where you can't really go through and it can solve a problem, you just use Google and you can solve the problem. And even in really, really small steps, with this, you can basically do anything regarding to hacking or like anything other stuff. So at the end, it maybe takes, months or years, but at the end, you will have your project, and you actually did it, but you have no idea how to do. So at least that's how it was for me, making my projects. So I just started doing it, and that's how I do web development as well. I just start, and then if I get stuck, I just Google it. And with this loop, I think you can basically solve any problem and do any project you want. And you have to be disciplined, and you have to have discipline. And if you decide you want to do something like a project, you have to finish it, and don't really give up if something isn't working out. If you decide something you want to do it, then just go for it and finish it. And at the end you will see if it worked out or not. So yeah, that's my advice. I would say it's not just for hacking, but for any of the stuff. Just start doing it, and then it will get better over time. That's it for me, I think. And spacehuhn, it's your turn.
Yeah, I can pretty much repeat that. But while you were saying this, there's one little story I can tell here. So I watched a lot of the, we were at the Chaos Communication Congress last year. Yep. And it is crazy being surrounded by these similar-minded people, and this whole vibe there is really, I don't know, it's really motivating. And one thing why that is these people they do something. They don't think about the consequences or something. They want to do something, they do it no matter what. How they're gonna get there, they find people to help them, they will find the tools to build it, they will research the information to get there. And there are no barriers. They're not gonna excuse themselves for not doing something. And the slogan of the C3 last year was "Tu was," which is like German for "do something." And I watched a lot of the presentations from last year, the ones we missed. I watched some of them, and some of those were very they were about like politics, for example. And there is this group. They are trying to get info from the government about all kinds of stuff. They want to support people if they have questions to the government, and basically everything like related to government and computers. Basically, they want to support people. They want to help getting the help to prevent like some bad laws that could influence our whole digital infrastructure and that kind of stuff. You know, the ones who gave us these fake IDs. I think that were those guys. And I saw a lot of talks and they were really kind of motivating. They were going against some, the government is obligated to give out certain information if they are asked for that by the public. And sometimes they were just saying, no, we can't give that out for that and that reason. And they were just thinking of some excuse because they don't want to give that info out publicly. But they are obligated to do that by the law. So they were just straight up going to the court and they had to release the info every time. And they were telling these crazy stories and just this mentality. These people, they were not, they were just doing something. And after that, I watched a video. Someone was, Udemy, this online platform where you can watch a lot of online courses and stuff. And
I use that.
This guy was talking why this platform is really bad, and it is. I always found it very sketchy, and I don't want to get into that, but. He was also saying that his free stuff was stolen and he was complaining like, but what am I gonna do? I can't really take this down. I can't really go against the people and stuff. And yes, you are in a shit situation. But if you just excuse yourself, you're not gonna see the change you wanna see. Like he's complaining that things should be better, but he's not doing anything to make it better other than making a video complaining about it. And that was really where I noticed this mentality from the C3. Everyone was just, someone is doing the wrong thing. Let's try to fix that. Let's try to keep him from that, and let's do the right thing. And then you see this YouTuber, I saw that YouTuber in that video excusing himself for not doing anything. So really what I'm just gonna, my point here is just do whatever you want to do. If you have a project idea, think of something that is simple, something you can finish, because you have to finish your project. If you're just like halfway through and then lose motivation, that's really bad. But first of all, you need just start with it. Don't search for excuses. Find something that is simple that you can do already. If you need some specific stuff, you can Google for it. You can basically what we all do is just Google to solve or to find out the solutions we need to make our project.
Programming even can be boiled down to Googling. So when you are programming, you are basically Googling, and then later you are not Googling because you already know how to do it.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I also did, that's the other story. I made a little interview with Hackin9. This is like a magazine, also like an online platform, and they do some online courses. They were interested in the offer, and I made a little interview with them just over email, nothing crazy, and they were also asking me if I had any advice, and I said, first of all, finish your projects. If you don't finish them, you need to finish and release them. Because if you don't do that and you lose motivation, then it wasn't really worth much. Maybe you learned something, that's the most important thing, but you want to finish something as soon as possible. If you release it, then you can ask, even if you just like ask your friends or something, share it with people, because then you get feedback and that automatically motivates you. And find a little community for that. If you do something very specific, try to find similar like people online that do the same thing.
There will be similar. Even if it looks like you are like a very specific niche, there is someone doing the same thing and looking for people doing the same thing. So you will for sure find someone to do it with.
Exactly. And even I making this Arduino hacking stuff, there wasn't like 2 years ago, there wasn't even like a community doing Arduino and hacking stuff really. But now Satonic got a lot of people into that, and I contributed a lot. And we have this community now, and you will always find people doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, for that, if you want to reach out to people, you kind of need to do something. You cannot just go without anything and start annoying people. Like, how do I do this? You need to show that you are working on something. What are you working on? Show it, get feedback, give feedback, get active in this community. But yeah, this will automatically motivate and yeah, you will get better. I just learned the basics of programming in school. Everything else I googled, really. That's really it. I mean, there's no magic behind it. We are not special or anything. Everyone is good at something. You just kind of need to find it. And if you want to do something but never did it, maybe that's a good point to start. And yeah, of course, success is also a thing that means being lucky most of the times. You have to consider that as well. So even if you try to reach out to people and get nothing back,
yes, but if you reach out, if you do a lot of stuff, then eventually you will get lucky. So
yeah,
exactly. If you put in the work, then even if you don't have a good luck, even then you can get like successful and get something like go viral and stuff. If you have a lot of stuff, then you have way more chances to succeed. So just do it, basically. Yeah.
Sometimes it just takes a lot of time before something gets noticed by the right people, and yeah.
Yeah, don't give up first. If
don't give up. I mean, luck is a big part of it. If you wanna kind of become or build a community or become famous, I'm doing quotes here. I mean, but yeah, I mean, luck is a big part. But if you keep doing what you want to do, then eventually you get lucky. Jack, do you have any advice?
I have plenty, kind of, because you guys have basically said everything. It all comes down to, you were saying how you need to finish your projects and stuff like that, but at the same time, you don't want to be doing so much to the point where you burn yourself out and you can't even look at it anymore because it just disgusts you. You're just like, I can't bear myself to be doing this. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be something that you're doing as a hobby that's going to lead to something much bigger. If you try and do too much, you're gonna burn yourself out.
This is something happening to a lot of YouTubers, right?
Yeah, I mean, it happened to me. I tried to. The platform on YouTube was that you need to upload a video every other day, and I tried to do that and burnt myself out. I didn't want to make videos because I was saying no to just doing normal stuff. Do you want to come out and do this? No, God, make a YouTube video. So yeah, you try and do too much, you get to the point where you are going to burn yourself out. I've done it, and being burned out is really difficult to recover from, because you got to think, if your happy time, not happy time, but your pastime, where you do after work or after school, after college or uni or whatever, is doing projects and stuff, and you burn yourself out on it, what are you going to do then? So it's all about balance, and kind of leads on to the other thing as well, where the things that you make, be proud of them. If you make yourself a really cool script, and I think the two, Stefan and David, they're very proud of the things that they've made. Whether they be basic or not, they're very proud of them either way, because as long as someone cares, and even if that's only you that cares, you did that yourself, you own it. You made that. So that's one thing. Even with the most simplistic scripts that I've made, I'm like, yeah, I did that. Without that script, then X, Y, and Z wouldn't happen. And yeah, don't let people tell you that you can't do something that you want to do. When I was in college and I said I wasn't going to go to uni, they were like, well, good luck doing what you're going to do. But I am where I want to be, and I didn't have to go to uni to do that because I didn't believe that I needed to go. I never wanted it to. I believe that I could get wherever I wanted to be without having to go to university. I kind of regret it a little bit because the computer science courses, they look awesome. And a lot of the stuff back when I was applying for uni, they didn't really exist. Like, you've got YouTubers now that are doing a day in the life of a computer science student. and it just blows my mind. And it's something that I would have liked to do. It's difficult. You got to put in the work, but yeah, don't let people tell you that you can't do something that you want to do, because for me, when someone tells me that I can't do something, it makes me want to do it even more.
Yes.
Like you're not going to be able to be a head IT operations guy, and I'm like, I bet I can. And what do you know? And then, yeah, these guys have said it, and I'm going to say is use Google. There's a big difference between people who use Google and use Google. Like, without Google, I probably wouldn't have a job, but Google is always there. It's just one type away from, you just got to learn how to use it. And I'm not talking about using Google Docs. I'm talking about just being basic as fuck with your queries. You're not wanting to Google, how do I make this work in my specific program that I'm making for X, Y, and Z? It needs to be, how do I read this file into a string in this language?
And you have to really filter out the bullshit, because you get so many results, and you maybe get the like super long, stuff articles, and you just look at it and you can, in a second, you can filter it out. This is not
Control
the thing
F.
you need.
Yeah, exactly, Control F. But I mean, the chances are, the people who made the programming languages, they had to have put this information somewhere,
Yeah.
Someone's gonna need it eventually. I mean, Stack Overflow is brilliant for it, and you've seen the memes that are like, "I'd like to thank Stack Overflow for my degree," and it's like, yeah, of course you do. I mean, how else were you gonna learn? You weren't born with this knowledge on doing certain things in certain programming languages. It comes from Google and doing.
Yes, and learning stuff theoretically in this field is not the way to really do it. I mean, you can learn programming, just the theory, but you will not be able to do it in the real life.
A book isn't going to teach you your program that you want to make. You can't pick up a book and then start off with an idea, pick up a book, read it, and then have a finished idea. I don't think you can anyway. Like, that book's not telling you how to do your project. It's telling you the different bits that you're probably going to use to do your project. But, I mean, Google it's there, man.
Yeah, I think books are an important part, but most of the time you're just gonna Google it because it's quicker. Just if you maybe have like specific things you need to look up that you don't understand or something, then it's good you have a book, but you're not really gonna learn from that book.
But yeah, that's kind of all I've really got to it. And don't be that guy that DMs people going, "How do I do this?"
Yeah, we have those.
How do you think that I did it? Use Google, damn it.
Yeah.
It's like people send me messages and they're showing the debugger in Visual Studio, and the debugger in Visual Studio is just amazing because it tells you what the hell is wrong. And they'll message me like, "What do you think's wrong with this?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I mean, there's a big red error message there saying what's wrong with it, but hell if I know."
We don't know neither. We also Google it if there is something we don't know. I mean, and people asking us like we know it, but no. I mean, you can just also Google it and there is the information. Like,
that comes back to this whole mentality thing that a lot of people are just. Okay, I download this and I do that. Oh, it doesn't work. Let's open an issue and not do anything about it. Yeah, you have to like figure out stuff yourself too. I mean, maybe someone is nice and helps you to fix it. Maybe it's a common issue, but if it's a common issue, you could have solved it yourself way quicker. If it's not a common issue, you probably need to investigate in it anyway, because no one is gonna come up and give you the solution right away. So yeah. Oh, and about this whole point, not getting burned out. Yeah, I mean, I'm also kind of the edge of that constantly. I have so many things I'm doing at the same time, even though maybe from my YouTube or something it doesn't look like that. But I'm working on so many things. I have to finish my university stuff. I also, I have a private life, right? And it's crazy most of the time. And don't overload yourself. If you become successful and then feel like you have to do this now, you don't. Just do what you like.
That's a good point, really. Yeah, because after you make a project, for me as well, I feel like I have to do something again, because otherwise I just lose what I did. But it's not really the case. So you can
that
you
shouldn't
can
be the
do
point.
it later, and You
if
don't have to
you
force yourself.
you want to do this thing, you want to do this project, and you want to get it out there, and you want to get people interested in it, and then you achieve that, right? And then you think, oh, now I have to update it constantly and get similar tools out there or something. No, you don't. Just do what you like. If you after that you like to do something completely different, then do it.
Because look, you got the success by doing what you liked at that point, by making that script. But if you don't like the same thing anymore, then you just do the other stuff that you like, and you maybe find success there as well. So you don't have to force yourself to doing something that you don't want to do anymore, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Do you guys have any more points?
I don't think so. I think we went over a lot, really.
Yeah, I am well out of points.
Yeah, this episode seems like to be as long as the last.
Yep, it's quite the same. If I'm looking at it, it will be the same as the C3 one.
I mean, it's pretty cool. It's worth it.
Yeah, definitely. People who are starting out, it's really good content for them.
Yeah. We made some pretty important points. I think this is going to help a lot of people.
Yep.
Yeah, because especially we, like that's always the thing. Like, you as a beginner look up to these people, but we in our minds are still these beginners. We never change. We just luckily got successful somehow.
Yeah, and it's also weird to say, I mean, you think about it and it's like, not really. I mean, I'm still the same, looking at like JackkTutorials and looking at Jonty and like, this is super cool. And, and now people are looking up at us, and it's like weird because we are still the same as you, maybe, looking up. So, you could do the same thing as well. It's not something that is so special. Yeah,
pretty much. And you don't have to become, your goal shouldn't be to become famous or something.
No.
You should just do what you like. But yeah, of course you should. I'm not saying like you shouldn't share it or anything. Yeah, try to build,
try to promote,
try to get your community, try to get it out there and stuff. But your goal shouldn't be to become to get the most followers or subscribers or something. That will lead to your burnout. That shouldn't be your goal.
Yeah, leave that to the clickbaiters.
Yeah, I'm Johnny.
Put it this way, you don't want to be on stage doing a boxing match for YouTube. Nobody wants that.
Oof, but yeah, I think that's our topic.
Yeah.
So
it was really great.
Yeah, if you like it, we wanted to do a little QA section after each episode, but I don't think anyone actually asked us a question.
Let me. I wanted to do this at the end. So if you are now listening to it, and you may be thinking, I'm talking to like all of the people, but no, I'm talking to you right now, who is listening to it and listen to the whole thing. That is really big deal. I mean, this is a super long podcast. And if you are here and listen to the whole thing, please leave us a review about how it was and what should we improve on, because it means a lot. Even though if you think I'm not talking directly to you, but yep, I'm talking directly to you. So, on Twitter, you should leave us suggestions and other topics and questions if you want, but definitely make sure to, give us something about how it was, or if you enjoyed it and what would you like to see in the future. So yeah, I just wanted to try this out. Maybe this would make people to give us reviews, because it really does matter what you think, especially you listening to it right now.
Yeah, especially with podcasts, you don't really know how many people are actually listening, how many listen to the end. It's a bit hard to know. So the feedback
if you got this far, we would really appreciate your feedback, because then you actually listen to the whole thing. So that would be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because we wanted to do this little QA section after each episode. So if you have any questions to us about this topic or other things, just something we can discuss in the podcast, leave it in the, YouTube comments, or tweet at us with the hashtag InsecureSpace. Yeah, And you can follow the podcast over on InsecureSpace.com. We also have it on Apple Podcast now, so you can find it on iTunes, Spotify, or any podcast app that supports an RSS feed. You can find us on Twitter at Jack1337, at spacehuhn, and at xdavid2. You can also support us on Patreon. I still haven't updated my Patreon description, but anyway, you can support the podcast over at patreon.com/spacehuhn. That's my personal Patreon, but I'm paying for the podcast hosting and stuff. So if you support me, you're gonna support the podcast. And we also have a Discord server. You can find the link to that on spacehuhn.com. And thank you for watching. And
And listening, thank you.
Yeah, listening.
Listening. I'm sorry. But maybe,
you even legit.
Maybe someone is watching this on YouTube, okay? They're watching
possible.
the whole time, looking at that
Looking
image.
at it for
that logo is really good. I mean, I would perfectly agree on someone looking at it for 2 hours, but
if you are currently looking at that image after over 2 hours,
make sure to
you've only got one screen.
Make sure to tweet at us with the hashtag InsecureSpace. I am interested for that one.
But thanks for listening, and
Yep,
I
thank
don't
you
know what to
everyone
say.
for listening. Yes, also, and how to end it actually?
How to end the podcast? Let us Google that. How did we end it last time?
I could just do like what I used to do, and I'll see you again in the next one.
But they can't see us.
You'll listen to us again in the next one.
Okay, then you should do that. Wait. Okay, then just go for it, and then we will end it with that one.
All right, and we will listen. Oh fuck! How did it go? And you listen to us, and we hope that you listen to us again in the next one.
Bye.
Nice. Or we need like some special effects, like
use some music. Let's play.